Go use the bath. Braden, you better watch this dog now. I'm not going to be able to have time doing the stream. Having kids in here, you tell them something, they don't listen to you. Because he wants to go play his video games. That's why. Y'all pray for us down here in Alabama. Braden, I told you to watch that dog and take him with you. I didn't tell you to leave him in here and ignore him. Take him in there with you. So we're gonna. He'll be getting his phone back in a minute, so that's a good thing. Let's see if we can share this out to a couple places, to the groups in Facebook. It may freeze up again. We'll see what happens. Still going to be waiting on some of our buddies to come in, some of our moderators to come in, but we'll send that bag out. We'll try to send that back out to the right places, hopefully. There we go. Hey, from Soggy, Oklahoma. I've never heard of that, but that sounds like a great place to live. There we go. We'll get that out there, hopefully. Still won't let me share out the Grow Food Now group. All right, so we are going to do... Man, this thing. Trying to run a whole social media thing with just a bunch of phones is hard. I'm going to have to go ahead and get me a good, solid computer. Been putting it off for a while. All right. Number generator wheel. Number picker wheel. All right. So we'll be able to add these numbers. Yellow Cake. He's got 2 here. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, so this is our picker wheel. This is going to be for anybody that that was giving in the lives last week. We're doing this giveaway for the whole month. We're going to be doing a surprise gear giveaway. I'll announce it later on, but any gifters that come into these lives will be able to be entered, like any of our top gifters are going to be entered into a pool, and we're going to draw Buzzer Life Commander. Thank you for sharing that out, buddy. Thanks for coming in. We're going to be sharing, we're going to be putting you in a pool for a gear giveaway, and dang phone. There we go. Wait a minute, they had a wheel of names. There we go. We're going to add names in here. All right. Let me enter on that. Come on. Oh, Lord. I don't need to put a title on there. I need to put names on there. We got pre-sorted names. So we're going to put the tags in here for those that were the gifters in there, and then we'll get the Chaos Cast going. I know this ain't as exciting and as it normally is. Get Rita in there. She gifted on Haps. Rita. All right, Rita. Yellow. Cake. Seared Soul. He's over in Australia. That'll be a high dollar send right there. Welcome in. Thank you for coming in. I'm probably killing my views right now because we're going to be doing this giveaway. It's a merch giveaway. We got the Happy Gun shirt. Whoever wins out of this pool will get to choose what they want, and then the next month We're going to be doing a gear giveaway. Forever Kim. Woodcock for life. Seahorse. Miss Carla Jean. I spelled it wrong. Kimmy. Kimmy was in 2 of the lives. This old man. I'm going to put Tom. That's a lot simpler. Everybody knows Tom. All right. Yellow cake again. Kimmy, yellow cake, Tom, Chanel Carter, my friend, the Karen. Not a Karen, she is the Karen. All right, we're about to do this name generator. And we'll get that out of the way and we'll start talking. So if you're coming in, we're doing the name generator. We're giving away the t-shirt to the biggest gifters over the last week. I think I got them all. All right, so we got them all. We're going to spin them. It's spinning. Who's going to win? Kimmy won a shirt. Kimmy won a shirt. I'm going to have to end up probably paying Dr. Kenny on that. So Kimmy won a shirt. Kimberly Shea, one of my supporters. All right. So we're going to close that down. Hey, Braden, you can have your phone back. So we will send Kimmy. Kimmy won. Kimberly Shea all the way over in Australia. We're going to send her that shirt. Send her a merch shirt. All right. So thank y'all. Pity 861. Thank you for coming in. Those of you that are coming in on through TikTok, Facebook, or YouTube. Thanks for coming in, my friends. Let's light these comments up. We got Karen join. I wonder if that is Chanel Carter in the form of Karen. See who all we got in here on Clapper. No, that's not Chanel, I don't believe. But one of the things I wanted to talk about today in this live is the chaplain. Good to see you, bud. It's the hard labor of collapse. So during the 90s, we watched the Balkans collapse. We watched different wars, different parts of those Eastern Europe nations fight with one another. We seen just general, I guess you'd say general utilities and amenities people had begin to disintegrate. We've seen people having to flee. Now we're seeing in the Ukraine, one of the things that they're doing, with this being a larger country, they're hitting supply chains. They're trying to knock out certain things. Now, one of the reasons they said that they're not wanting to knock out certain utilities and certain, infrastructures, because when they, have to go back in there, they don't want to have to rebuild it. They don't want to have to keep it going. They want that there because, see, that'll create some abnormality amongst the people. They're already going to have some pushback because they're invading a country that's kicked out two different Russian invasions, in Russian occupations, I guess you would say. They've ran out Russian occupations twice. You had the Ukrainian Revolution, the Orange Revolution that happened in 2014, and they ran out a Russian-backed group. So they don't want to cause no more problems for themselves there than they already are. What I don't understand, Now, there's a lot of different things going on, and we don't know the full scope of everything and why these things are happening. But if they do go in there, how are they going to contain it? It's already going to be problems. They're already going to have problems because the people there just do not like them, do not want them there. They do not want them in control. Hey, Blue Duck, it's good to see you in here, man. Blue, do you want to come up as one of my guests on the show, and we can talk a little more about, I guess you'd say, the hard labor of a societal collapse scenario. So I'm going to ask, just let me know in the comments, and I'll bring you up. If that comment don't come up, just holler at me again. We'll make sure I hear you, because sometimes comments don't show up. Pastor Greg, good to see you. Melanie B, good to see you. Jason, good to see you. If you're just now joining, share this out, share this live out. Let's get more folks in here. We got 55 people in here. We got 31 people over here. Still got 2 on Haps, but we'll see how it goes. Kevin, good to see you. Hawk, good to see you. So, societal collapse. We're watching a society collapse to a degree right now in the Ukraine as they're fighting. Let's get the likes up too if we can. Let's get those likes up, folks. Throw them likes in there and help us get this out. Thank y'all for your likes. But if they completely collapse it, they're going to be shooting themselves in the foot. Yeah, well, I think we got one of our mods in here. Is Buzzard Life in here? Buzzard Life, I'm going to make you a mod. Blue, we're going to make you a mod. All right, so we got our mods in place. Colton, your mom. Thank you, Colton, for the likes. Thank you for the follow, Colton. Hey, we'll see. Hey, AC Miami, it's good to see you too. Thank y'all for the likes. Let's keep sharing this out. Well, Colton, let me see how things work out between you and I, and I'll look into making you a mod. Most of these guys I make mods in here are folks I've had for a while, so I can't just make you a mod right off the bat. But you stick around a while, and we'll see about what we'll do. We'll see. I see you commenting some stuff in the videos and in the chat that seems productive. We'll see what we can do about making you a mod. I got to be real careful because you might be a troll for all I know. Aloha, Chica. Good to see you. Thanks for the follow. But we're watching a society collapse. And what happens when the technology begins to break down? What happens when we have to begin to do things by hand? What happens when fuel runs out? You've got to chop wood by hand, and I can tell you that chopping wood by hand can be cumbersome. It can be laborious. It's not going to be something you're going to just pick up and be able to do consistently every day without having practice. You'll have to grow into that. I've recently changed jobs and went into the construction industry, and I've not had to do that kind of labor in a little while, but I like it. Hey, Savannah, good to see you. So I've had to let my body get back readjusted. It's planting season. I'm having to get back there. It's been all winter. I've been sitting around, and now we got more folks coming in on the house. Thank y'all for joining in. More people coming in on Clapper. Let's get them likes out and let's share this out, folks. Come on in. Give us a follow if you're looking to learn to be prepared. Share this out if you want your friends to get a little better prepared. And please be respectful. No politics, no garbage. We're talking preparedness. We're trying to help folks. We're trying to give people. Thank you for that share, Savannah. We're trying to get folks educated on outdoors, preparedness, bushcraft, survival, wilderness skills. So the more that we're able to focus on that and not troll stuff, hey, the better. But, we're looking at, our society has been on the brink of collapse now. We look at the Depression, and we look at, the roaring 20s, and them people that had not, had to go out and grow gardens before. And it went on into World War II. People were having to go out into their backyards and reclaim skills that they hadn't used, and they had to go back into growing. When you look at the pioneers that were going west that were going out into the frontier. You seen a massive amount of people that were coming out of cities, and they were having to relearn skills or pick up skills their families had never had. If you watch the movie, I think it's 1883, I think is the name of it. It's like a Yellowstone prequel, and you see people that are coming from European countries into wanting to go out west, and they tell them don't drink the water. They tell them they need to boil the water. And one of the things that they do is a lot of the people drink the water anyways, and they begin to suffer from stomach cramps. They begin to suffer from dysphoria and sickness. And one of the things that we see that happens there is they have to learn not to just go out and start drinking that water that's there. They need to boil it because they need to disinfect it. You know, there's been many times that people didn't have skills and they had to relearn those skills. They had to go out into the West. They had to go out during the Depression. And there was tent cities during the Depression. There were a lot of people that turned into, I guess, basically hobos because they were traveling around trying to find work. That was the terminology then. I don't know. I guess we would call it vehicularly challenged nowadays if we want to make people. Colt Dover, good to see you in. Thanks for coming in through the invite. Share this out to your friends, Colt. Let's get folks in here to learn. So if we're going into a collapse scenario, yeah, 1883 does rock, Mitch Cass. Good to see you in here, Mitch. Just seen you come in. I'm glad you got to come in too. But that right there shows you, when you look at that scene from 1883, when the guy that's going to be this guy is going to be leading this group of people out in, I believe, the Colorado, maybe the Colorado Springs area at that time. Transient refugee status. I like that, Blue. I like that, Blue. Let's see, Blue. You don't got enough followers to go live yet. Buzzard Live, do you got enough followers to go live with me? Are you still in here? You got enough to go live. Won't let me allow you to go live. Buzzard Live, send me a request to go live. Jerry Dell's live. Well, let me bring him. Wait a minute. Who was that I seen on there? Let's see. I seen some of my. I seen Freedom Prepper Kim in here. Bring her up. She's good for prepper. Oh, there's tons of people going live right now. I was going to bring Buzzard Live up, but I don't know how to do it. Keep showing me different folks. I'd like to find somebody to come on here. Buzzard Live. Let's see here. Send me a request to go live because it's not letting me send it to you for whatever reason. Or maybe I don't know how to. We'll figure it out. But anyways, that show, when you look at that scene, you lost me. All right, she'll be back here in a minute. But that scene from Yellowstone, you see that you had a group of people that were immigrants. They were immigrating from Europe to America. Yeah, we're having problems. Hey, Party Monster, good to have you in here. Again, y'all, if you're coming in, if you're new, come in. There ain't no gas in it. Oh, Lord. All right. If I say there ain't no gas in it 5 times fast, Party Monster, you got to give me a follow. There ain't no gas in it. 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 Oh, I got a gift. Thank you, Party Monster. You're going into the pool. Hey, Black Prepper, good to have you in. Send her an invite and see if she wants to come up. Party Monster. Went into the gear giveaway this month. All right.
How you doing, Dennis?
What you doing, bud?
Hanging in there, man.
Hey, your channel's growing lately. I've seen you're blowing up.
It ain't been moving too much here lately, and
Oh,
since last time we talked, it's just it's kind of just putting along. But
now again, are you seeing your views go down?
Yes,
I have too. I might have one that'll get about 5,000 or 6,000. I got up to where every one of mine was hitting a couple thousand, and I'd have maybe one that would go into the tens of thousands every other day, and then 100,000 maybe once a week. But what's happening now, I'm seeing. I think they're trying to limit the preppers. They're trying to shut us down to a degree. Trying to get us to stop doing what we're doing for whatever reason. I don't know.
Oh, I agree, and I was talking to Travis, and we have stopped putting any kind of reference to any kind of prepping stuff and put other references out there, and my stuff is still not going.
I think we got tagged for it,
Well, I've just been able to start following people back today. I've been able to follow 5 people, and I didn't want to overdo it and have them, ban me again, because I couldn't follow anybody for almost a month.
Oh, they wouldn't let you follow people?
My mom back.
I've never seen anybody be able to. I've never heard nobody getting a follow ban. That's crazy.
Oh, no, seriously, it took me 2 weeks to follow my mother.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And so she was following me. She's like, "Why?" She's like, "I can't message you," and I'm like, "Because I can't follow you back." And today's the first day I was able to get more than 5 people. And if I would,
thanks, man.
Saturday, if I followed one person on Saturday, I went to try to follow another person. They said there was something wrong with my account, couldn't follow.
So we're having something going on, because that last update, we seen something change in the dynamic. Now I'm seeing more followers coming in, but it's on these 100 view. I got a video with 200 or 300 views, and that'll be some, or it's old videos they're coming in on that are still getting circulated. And so, I took preparedness out of my name. I may even take survival. Mini Haven Homestead, good to have you in here. I believe Mini Haven Homestead is one of my mods, so we got another mod in here. Now, Party Monsters won't know how long will flour stay if it's stored dry and in vac. Now, if you're vacuum sealing, that's going to be one thing. You got to have oxygen absorbers, because oxygen can still get through the plastic in certain places. I would go with Mylar bags, and you don't have to vacuum seal Mylar bags. You can put oxygen absorbers in them and then heat seal the Mylar bags, and then that'll last up to 20 to 30 years in some cases without spoiling.
It's good to put those into a bucket or some container of some sort after that, because you don't want rodents getting in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the rodents can chew through the Mylar. They can chew through. Make sure no wrinkles in the heat seal. Yeah, the heat seal. You gotta. Yeah. That's why I like a straightening iron, because I've used my vacuum sealer, and the straightening iron seems to just goes through it out, and you get just a perfectly good seal there. So we made. I thought I made Mini Haven Homestead a moderator. Try to keep some moderators in there. Okay, she's a moderator now. That's something we look at. That flour. We're used to having bags of flour in the store.
Right.
Wheat berries last around 5,000 years. Whoa. Flour goes rancid within a year to 3. Dang. Silver Mylar and Home Depot bucket. Now, say that's good, Party Monsters. As long as you got them oxygen absorbers, you're going to have a very long shelf life. We're used to having these things. These preps. This is the main thing. Hey, Yellow Cake, good to see you in here, man. One of the things that I look at is, what is it going to take to make that flour once the mills are shut down, once the processing plants are shut down. We look at what they did back in the day. They had to thresh wheat. They had to do it by hand. I mean, I don't think we have any mass production way of producing it like they had prior to what we use now. I mean, those are probably rusted and gone. Um, what are your thoughts on that?
No. Well, I don't know if you caught my video, but I went through on sunflowers, using the whole sunflower, the whole plant itself.
Mm-hmm.
So once they're grown and the flower starts to wilt a little bit, and you're about ready to pick the head to go in and get the inner core of the what is called the pith of the sunflower, you can make flour out of that. You give it a quick rinse, dehydrate it, and then you can grind it up into flour, and make bread from that. You can either double what you have, or add. If you don't have much flour, you can't get flour. Then you can use the pith once it's ground up to substitute for flour. So that's in my video. I was telling people to definitely, even if you don't eat sunflower seeds, you can make the oil from it. Look at Russia and Ukraine are the two largest producers of sunflower oil. And also, if you have contamination, like say if you were to have radiation contamination, the sunflowers will pull the radiation out of the ground.
Now, and I've heard that before. How they pull radiation out of the ground. So that would be the thing, with the threats of nuclear strikes, possible. That would be the things that we would need. Now, they would pull the radiation out of the ground. You would not be able to eat them, though, would you?
No. So what you would want to do is just find a safe place out of the way, and once you pull them out of the ground, you pull them by the whole root system, and then just put them in a pile somewhere safe away from where you are. Then the following year, that ground would be safe to grow in.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, they have a whole bunch of them planted around Chernobyl.
Okay, and see, I wasn't aware of that. Now that's pretty cool right there. They had a lot. Silver collide is also essential to have and know how to make. Silver collide. Now, do you know what that is?
Silver. It's backwards. It's supposed to be colloidal silver.
Okay, now explain what's colloidal silver.
It's an old timey tincture. My sister-in-law takes it. Now, here's the thing about colloidal silver. You can take too much of it and end up looking like a Smurf.
Turn you blue.
Seriously. There's actually a video. This guy made it onto one of those little daytime shows and everything, and he was taking colloidal silver, and it happened so naturally. It changed the pigment of his skin to where, he was an older gentleman, 65 or so, white hair, like balding on top like me, and white beard, but he looked like Papa Smurf and everything. He actually turned like this dark blue, gray or whatever and everything, and it was actually kind of funny. But he was taking so much colloidal silver over the years, he never noticed it.
Huh.
And until people started to say something. But he's like, well, I've never been sick.
He's blue, but he went never.
But they said don't take it too much.
Yeah. So how do you make colloidal silver?
I went through a prepper class with this one guy, and they were talking about it. He explained it. I couldn't tell you. I'm not 100%, so I really don't want to give the wrong information out there.
Okay. That's something to study about, though.
You can buy it. You can buy it still today.
I might buy me some of this. I might need this. Now, Yellow Cake Ricochet on YouTube is Yellow Cake on Clapper. He's bringing up something that I've always looked at a lot. No. Okay. I let myself go two different directions at once there, but I'm going to address that too. He's talking about acorn flour. Now we've used acorn flour before in keto diets, but basically you're going to shell the acorns and then you're going to roast them and you're going to grind them down into a flour. And Red
Well,
Mix, thanks for joining in.
One thing you've got to do is to leach the tannin out, though.
Yeah. You got to boil them, don't you?
No. I've watched. I was actually watching this episode last week when I was sick. Was that the husband of Michael Hawk? Him and his wife were out, did the survival show, and she took her sock, filled them up with the acorns that she found. I think there was out in Montana or somewhere. Put them in the creek, let them sit overnight, and then took them and crushed them or boiled them, then crushed them and everything, and then made them into like a patty. And she said leaving it in the creek overnight was long enough to leach the tannins. It was a flowing creek too, so that was good. But people like me have to be careful because I can't eat any tree nuts. So I can eat peanuts all day long. Peanut butter's fine, but I can't eat any walnuts, cashews, almonds, anything like that.
Having some issues with this other phone over here. Safe. It's obviously not charging, and it about went out on me. Hey, single mom, it's good to see you. Yeah, I'm gonna like get a computer. I think I can use TikTok through apps, but I gotta have them put it into laptop mode. Now Ricochet's bringing up what Party Monster brought up, and Blue Dude is talking about electrolysis process with the silver, and that 9999. I always want to just use 3 nines instead of 4, but 9999 fine silver wire, 9 voltage battery. And so that's how you make it.
It's been so long since I've gone over that I didn't want to give any wrong information.
Well, I mean, and that's what we're about here, trying to get it out there. We'll start the conversation, but we'll tell you to do your own due diligence. Get out there and study that thing, because if something happens, we're not responsible. You took that stuff. The Party Monster had a sore that would not heal after surgery once, and they put that silver on it and cured it. Quit. Now that's cool. I'm gonna have to look at that.
I believe it.
Now, the main thing I wanted to look at today. Single moms come over from TT over to TikTok from Clapper. So thank you. It's good to see you over here, girl. One of the things you look at, if things were to collapse, you look at things collapsing. There's going to be so much work that that's the labor part of it that I'm kind of looking at. And thank you, Party Monster. Party Monster's up there. They're one of our top gifters today, so they're going in that pool today for the gear giveaway we're going to be doing at the end of the month. So if you gift during this live hey, David Beasley, good to see you. If you gift during this live, you're going to be put into that pool. But, people don't realize, using these hand tools, a lot of things that I promote, and doing a lot of the things you promote, it's even if you've got a chainsaw, you're going to be doing hard work. But think about, you don't have the gas for your tiller to work, and you're having to use a hand turner, one of them hand turners to till. What if you're having to use a horse and plow? Well, you automatically dealing with a horse is a job in itself. And we've hooked horses up to plows. I know a man that's actually got mechanical horse-drawn equipment, hay rakes and things of that nature. And that's work because you're walking behind it, steering that horse. What are some hard work things that you think people are underestimating about a societal collapse?
Well, one, I think that they have the perception that gas is always going to be there, available. If they had to sit home for a week or two, that things will come back. That's one of the biggest farces I see. If a societal collapse happened, I don't see a quick turnaround.
It's
I don't have faith in this current administration for that.
oh yeah.
So I think the fuel will be the first thing to go. If they can't get fuel in, then you're in trouble. Luckily, my house has a wood burning fireplace, so
that's
I'll
going to
always
be
have heat.
that's going to be a big advantage.
Yeah. So, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but actually, Obama through the EPA when he was in, him and Biden, they put a stop on the wood burning fireplaces.
For real.
Yeah.
Like how? Like you cannot build them in a house now?
Yeah, they passed legislation. Now, if you already have one, it's there, but the EPA was cracking down on the wood burning stoves, the heaters, wood heaters in the new homes, because they were polluting the environment. They said. And
well,
what the hell happens when the lightning strikes? It's something that's natural. And how are the poor gonna? My thing was, how are the poor people gonna get heat?
Exactly.
You look at the inner cities now. I'm from South Florida. That's where born and raised. But I've been after high school. I've gone to different states, and I've seen the poor people like you see on TV, where they've got a 55-gallon drum burning wood, slats standing, in Cincinnati, just to stay warm.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. You can't stop people from doing that. Whether it's
now explain this situation again. It's in Cincinnati, Ohio, and you're saying people.
Yeah, so I was in Cincinnati in 1997 when my buddy played football. And there were poor people on the streets with the metal oil drums.
Yeah.
And people would clean them out, use them for trash cans.
Yeah.
And these poor people in the city of Cincinnati were burning wood on the side of the streets between buildings to stay warm.
Okay. I thought you were, my mind's drifting trying to keep up with comments everywhere, and I thought you was talking about making the barrel stoves. But yeah, I've seen that before. Cody King, good to see you in here. I've seen that before where they use those like homeless people, people that are low income, that'll be using that. Now, a lot of people around here just use them for burn barrels naturally, but yeah, you can't stop people from burning wood when they're camping. And then we got tons of forest fires. They put out more carbon emissions than wood stoves ever thought about.
Right. It's crazy.
Survival Alliances, welcome on in. I'm going to invite Survival Alliances up. We hadn't got to have a conversation before. I don't know if she's going to be able to. Well, the one thing I look at, everything we talk about, whether it's making your own flour from almonds or sunflowers, even to, keeping the wood up for a wood stove, people just do not realize the labor in it. And you see kids right now when they come into the workforce, it's like it just blows their mind like that. And even if it's a good job, they're like, man, I don't want to do this. This is crazy. But what if you're like 50 years in the past and, it's like my uncles, my grandparents, they're talking about what they had to do. Now, I give my kids a lot of chores. They pretty well do a lot of the animal feeding. I'm fixing to start making them help in the garden. We have Brantley down there. My son Braden went fishing. I think he did that to get out of having to work in the garden. So, but my nephew Chris, he said he calls him on phone and we'll go fishing. Hey, Daddy, I want to go fishing. I said, I thought you was going to help me in the garden. I mean, yeah, I want to go fishing. So, there's so much in, like when you're working a job and then you're coming home and I'm doing, these live streams, you're doing content. I think you mentioned you're writing content. Then we're keeping up homesteads, trying to keep the animals taken care of, keep their, you got to do a lot of your own veterinarian work when you got animals.
Mm-hmm.
You can't carry all your chickens to the vet. You got to have the dewormer. You got to understand how to doctor your chickens. You got to understand how to keep them hydrated because sometimes, I mean, they got air sac issues. You got to keep flake down. You got all these things you got to do. And right now, I can come into a warm house in the winter and warm up. In the summer, I can come into the air conditioning and cool down. I can turn the faucet on and I got fresh water. I don't think people estimate how hard life can be or was for like my uncle and them. They grew everything. They had a little technology, had indoor plumbing after a little while because I still heard the stories about the outhouses and one of them fell in one. Um, we heard about the wood splitting and there's still people that split wood. Um, my brother still uses wood. We've got a few on our street that use wood. My neighbor Bluey used wood, but there was always somebody splitting wood with a maul. Um, we've done me and you've been out in the woods and done your camping and had to do the hard work in that. Well, people don't estimate that day-to-day work. Homesteaders have a little taste of it, but yet we still have that little bit of power to come back to in the home.
It really amazes me if people were to lose power now. There, some people really do understand what it's like to go without power. I mean, in 2004, when I was down in Florida, we had Hurricane Charlie come through,
Mm-hmm.
and my son was 3 days old. I actually pulled him out of the hospital where Charlie came up the Peace River, and it demolished the hospital. I pulled him out 4 hours before the hurricane hit.
Dang.
And so they were like, "No, here, stay. You're good. Just get out by 12." And
hey, Bray, what you doing, boy?
So to go without power for over 7 days with a newborn kid in Southwest Florida where it's hot as heck, in the height of summer, with the wife just gave birth, and
Dang.
it wasn't, she didn't get the epidural, she didn't make it in time, so it was a natural birth. She was not happy, and then on top of that, her mother decided to stop taking her medications at that point in time. So it was all heck broke loose.
Mm-hmm.
So
now,
I was happy to go to work.
we got a few people in the chats that's mentioning, how much work goes into what we have right now. People don't realize how much technology has allowed us. Now, I went through not something as bad, but similar. You remember when the tornadoes hit? Hey, Derv, good to see you in here, buddy. We got one of our other moderators in here. You remember when the tornadoes hit the South back in 2011?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm right in one of the epicenters over here around Sand Mountain. And, I remember it happening, it hopped our house. And I remember it happening when we went out and you could hear people screaming for help. It was just bad. And we was going around the neighborhood making sure everybody's all right. I mean, we got tons of trees down. So me and my wife, I told her, I said, we got to run up here and get some stuff. I said, I don't see them getting this taken care of quick. So we drove into the town. We live out in the county, in the country. We live out in the county land out here by the river. So we drove in, filled up the tank at the gas station, and it was like literally the only place that had power in the town. Like everything was dark. And my cousin, she's probably like 15 or 16 at the time. She walks out and she's like, yeah, there's people missing. And we began to realize, she said, that there ain't no power in Stevenson. There's no power in Bridgeport. She was talking about all the areas, little communities that was without power. So then we went up there. We got us some batteries. We got us some propane tanks. At the time, it wasn't cleared out. But then the shelves were cleared by the next day. And then people were without power for weeks. Now, up on the mountain, they had water towers. They pumped water up to them. Well, them water towers started running out of water. We were having to take bottled water up there to them. They were having to set showers up. People got a taste of what it was like to live, and they people really got to understand it. Churches had to come together. Now, Party Muster's bringing up over here on TikTok, for those of you that are joining on the other apps, I think we're up to 11 through apps. We're up to 35 on Clapper. We got 8 on here pretty steady. And we ask those of you to share this out to your friends, bring more in. We're talking preparedness. We're talking about emergency preparedness. We're talking about how to be ready for this. And the main thing we're focusing on is the workload increasing during collapse. Buzzard Life's giving us a good idea. He went without power. Where are you saying? South Florida?
Southwest Florida.
So it's
in a little town called Englewood. So
hot as it can get.
So we're about 850 miles from the equator, so it sucks.
So I mean, yeah.
But that year we did 4 hurricanes in like 4 or 5 weeks.
That gives you a good perspective, though, of what would happen long term. Say the whole country collapses.
Right.
That tornado gave a lot of folks around me an understanding of why I was doing what I was doing, because we lost some food, but we didn't lose as much as others because the freezers went out. We had a lot of shelf-stable canned food, so we have plenty to eat, but the churches had to come together. Party Monster's bringing up that thing about people coming together. That's why society's formed in the first place, was to help people, a mutual assistance group. Me and Jeremy talked about this the other day, that MAG, and Survival Alliances pushes that. She actually wrote a book about that. And, we're going to need community. We're going to need each other. We got our communities here, but if the grid goes down or the internet fell, like right now, Russia's having to deal with, their people are having to deal with no internet, and they're probably not happy. Ukraine, we see Elon Musk bringing the Starlink systems in to help them keep internet access. But if we went into a collapse mode over here, you'd have some folks still on Starlink, but overall, me and you wouldn't be able to be the community that we are now. We would have to rely on the folks in the neighborhood.
Right, and there's not a lot. I mean, there are people that are like-minded where I'm at, but some of them are still yet, I'll just wait and see, and you can't do that. Don't play it.
Thank you.
Make your mind up for yourself. You got to take care of your kids first. Your wife, your kids, whatever.
Yeah.
You got to think of them first and take everything else out of the equation. Is my family going to be prepared enough?
Yeah.
Because FEMA used to be 3 days of food and water. Now they're saying, I've been told that they want people to have 14 days.
Mm-hmm.
And why? Because FEMA they're not giving the resources out. They don't have the resources.
No.
And
they're not. They don't. It's not that they don't have them. I don't think we're going to be the ones getting them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're saving them for them.
Look at the Canadian prepper was hit up by the Red Cross.
I seen that.
They wanted him to send all his stuff next day air, and then they'll write him a check. And he's like, no. If it wasn't going to the truckers, he said no.
I knew something was coming, and I think they knew we were going to have this, this war going on. Whatever's happening over there, they knew they were going to need those supplies for refugees. So imagine that's happening here. Imagine what they're going through. They're learning. Some of them are probably out in the cold right now, and gas and propane tanks. And see, that's a good thing. But then we got to move forward to, that's going to get you to that point, I think, where, you're putting together your mags. Some people are not going to have them in the beginning. They're going to form them. And Mini Haven Homestead brings this up. What skills can you offer? That's a question to be asked. And Jeremy talked about social triage. And was you in here when we were talking about social triage with him?
I want to say yes. It was like 2 weeks ago.
I believe so. Yeah. I think you were one of my either a guest. I haven't made you a mod yet. Trying to have a lot of mods. We seem to have a bunch of trolls that want to come in and just take us into politics. But Yeah, it's like he was talking about. You're gonna have people with skills. You're gonna have people with that have no skills at all, and you're gonna have to make choices. Who's gonna be in this, and it's gonna be sad that we got to have that decision. But there will be people that have no, will contribute nothing, that will not plan to contribute anything, and it's easy to make
Well,
Brown's.
that's where they're going to have to uh, turn people away. I have a friend of mine, dear friend. I've known him for 20 years. We met in Florida. He lives here in North Carolina with me. He actually moved up after I moved here, and he's one of these guys. He's an ex-army guy. He's a great mechanic. He knows how to fix the things that most people can't, or how to figure out what's wrong. Um, I've told him time and time again, hey man, you need to start doing it now. And I said, look, you're not coming to my house. And I think this is one thing that people need to hear is they've got to be strong enough to tell their friends, good friends, and whatnot. If you're not preparing for yourself and your significant other or kids, then I can't feed you in this. I will have maybe a little bag, a little something I will give out, but that's it. Because I've had a lot of people tell me, hey, when this stuff hits the fan, I'm coming to your house. I'm like, I won't be there.
See, that's kind of the thing in our neighborhood. I've got family in this neighborhood. We've got good neighbors. We've got people that have a lot of, I've got neighbors that are starting to raise livestock. They're starting to get into gardening. I've had some new ones move in. We've got people that can add the skills, and then you got the people like, well, I can hunt a deer, and I can do. Well, I can hunt a deer. I can go back here and kill a deer in the woods. I can hunt a squirrel. That don't contribute to me long term. That just you're gonna kill a deer, and then you're gonna use up my supplies long term because you're gonna need more than just a deer to get you through. And after the first 6, 7, 8 months, the deer are gonna be hard to find. The ones that are still left. The cattle are gonna be hard to find. There's a lot that goes into that process. I mean, food in general is going to be hard work. You're going to have a die off. And like you're saying, you're going to watch people you love die, because you got to keep the kids alive. There may be children that you have to take in. And then that's another mouth to feed, but you couldn't afford to feed the parents because they didn't get ready. By now, if you're not prepared in some way, you're gonna be a problem more than a help. Now, gardening is gonna be key. Many have it Homestead brought up the GMO, the heirloom seeds. I was going through some of my seeds as I was starting my garden yesterday, and I've got some heirloom. I've got some that I know I can replant anyways that are not quite heirloom yet, and then I got to up that stock, but I can't, garden's going to be feeding my family. I'm going to be having to watch that garden all the time because we even have people stealing our gardens now.
Right. I mean, just between the critters at night, I have fruit trees in my backyard. I'm going to actually be working on my garden, and I'll be doing a video for it, so you actually be able to see it now. Last year, I started putting mulch down, mulch this whole area, and then my shoulder blew out on me. So I've got a lot of work to do this year because I couldn't lift my arm for months. But my problem is my deer that are behind my house and everything. I live in a small community out of the out in the country here in North Carolina, and my deer keep jumping the fence and eating all the fruit. So I got apple and pear trees, and I have yet in 3 years to get an apple or a pear off of my tree. The deers get them in the middle of the night.
Exactly.
It just drives me crazy. My wife thinks it's hilarious.
And part of us are saying human hair keeps deer away. Maybe you need to shave your beard.
No, that's the only place I can grow, brother.
That's what I was about to say. You're like me. You don't have any on top to shave. So, you trimming the beard, just throw the cast offs in there. Hey, Becca, good to see you in here. I'm going to make you a mod, Becca.
Ducks and donkeys.
Well, I always have a mod in here.
Great. Yeah,
Yeah, and the geese. Oh, I'll tell you.
Yeah. So one thing I want to say, and I've talked to you mentioned earlier. So these people have, well, I'll just go out there, I'll shoot a deer, I'll shoot this, I'll shoot that, I can hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And what people don't realize, and I've brought up in some of my videos, is that's the mentality. You got to look how many people buy a hunting license in your state.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you live in a large state, I think, let's see, the example they had was like Michigan had over 800,000 hunters out there. Okay, that's 800,000 people that bought a license to hunt deer that year.
That might be our population in Alabama. It's 800,000.
So, but even in terms, okay, so let's say it's 8,000. You know where you are. You got those homes around. Once people start going out there poaching these deer 24/7, driving up and down the road or sneaking up the property,
spotlighting,
and poaching deer. What happened during the Great Depression?
Okay. Oh yeah,
they almost wiped out the deer population. So the eastern deer are actually mixed with the western deer.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to reduce the population.
See,
because it got so bad.
That's a key thing in Alabama. Now our white-tailed deer were almost extinct, except in West Alabama. They had to bring deer in, I think, from 11 to 13 some odd states to get the population. We were kind of that first. I think we were some of the first to start the deer management program. And now we have, I think I looked at the averages. We have an average. Every hunter averages 2 deer a year, and that's the ones that report. You got people killing deer every day. There was a guy, you brought 30 deer out. A deer every month. I mean, every day for a month. He'd go out there and live there. Had a trailer, and he had no license. Nobody knew. And that's just how big deer hunting is, and how many deer we have. And he was killing doe when it was antler buck season. He just did what he wanted, and he owned the property. But yeah, and the deer there's still plenty of deer around here.
If it's on his property, then I don't know how it's the law. You don't have to have a license if it's your property.
Yeah, now down here you don't have to have a license for your property, but at the same time, it's still he ain't eating 30 deer a year. No, he's just doing it. And that's his right, But yeah, it's insane down here. Like if the whole population mobilized, started hunting deer after the cattle were gone. In Alabama, we would decimate it all over because everybody's got a rifle down here. Everybody's got a shotgun they can throw some pumpkin balls in. Shut the door, boys. Oh Lord, these children, they come home from a ball game wound up. But yeah, I've had that conversation with family, and they didn't, they don't like being told, well, that one of them mentioned, I got the skills that I think I'll build. I'm like, look, your skills are based on a certain thing being a certain way. But you're talking about tons of people pouring out of the cities. They're going to be running the deer. The deer are going to get killed by the ones that's got the guns, no matter, which way they're going. And it's going to be like, and I don't think it's going to be months and months. You're going to see a major part of it in the first month or so, just even if it's summer, because desperate people do desperate things when they're hungry. Hey, Doomsday Podcast.
Yeah, definitely. People, they're going to do, hey, I got to take care of my kids. They haven't ate in 3 days. And,
yeah.
They're not going to care. And what was that movie about the Great Depression where was it Grapes of Wrath, where the kids, the family was like,
yeah.
we ate chicken last night, and they were like, oh, it wasn't chicken, it was your dog. Where's your dog at? That always stuck out from that book.
People will be eating pets. Now they may not eat their pets, but if Fido don't come home, right. What happened.
Yeah.
Some will resist it, but some will do it. Just sheer hunger we'll change people. We'll have food riots in the first month, and then people will start pouring out of the cities. Even if there is still some level of says deer are less afraid in the summer. So yeah, I mean, if it happened in the summer, it decimate the deer population fairly quickly because they're not geared. They're used to our society. They're used to our ways. Now we've got some folks over here bringing up ticks, talking about viruses, and I lost a little bit of the conversation. Patriot Patriots United. He's talking about his dog running them, and I just shoot them and fire up the smoker. Yep. The hound is saying hunt puppies with their Buick. It's getting a little morbid over here, folks, but it isn't adult out. Now, Single Mom's Journey, she brought something up about the conversation of turning people down is going to be, that's a hard conversation, and it is. And we say that. Me and you say that. But then when you see a hungry kid, I know myself.
Right.
I know how I am. Like I got people that I know are needing food, and I dip into my own preps to help them, and it's not even hard times. Elderly people, there's people that's going to pull at your heartstrings. That's why I feel like the community setting is going to be the better setting in the long run because learning to keep a garden all year long in some form or fashion, you're going to learn to have that garden. And that's why I do what I do. That's why you do what you do. Single Mom's Journey, that we're encouraging people to not be that person on the doorstep saying, hey, I need your help. I thought you was crazy. We're in times literally now. If you're not prepared in some way, then what are you watching? What are you seeing on TV? And I'm not saying that to be mean, but this is the thing where I really got to get, God gives people common sense. I've heard people say, my faith's stronger than fear. This ain't fear. This is common sense. Noah made a boat when God said, there's going to be a flood. Joseph put up the 7 good years when he knew the 7 bad years is coming. If you know the times and you see the seasons, it's time to get ready for hard times because Patriots United, we're talking about he's talking about nature's providing food for all. Hey, American Woman, good to see you in here. We're looking at, there's times when people over forage areas, even in the few people that forage now.
Right.
We see people that overhunt land, and that's why we have the deer management in place. We just now started having a lot of squirrel come back to our area behind my house. I used to go to my uncle's land, but then the reason they came in here was because Google basically just tore the woods to pieces and put a monstrosity over there. And so, yeah, they had no plan for wildlife relocation. I mean, we literally had the deer flooding into the backyards of tons of deer hunters, and it was a free for all. And yeah, they tore down a majority of the. I was talking to a guy one day. They tore down all the old acorn trees on my family property, and because my uncle had to sell it right after the tornadoes, it done blew a lot of the trees down, so he just went ahead and sold them sold into TVA, and then TVA sold to Google. And so I was talking to a man about how they were just stripping all the trees down. And I said, he said, well, they're replanting a lot of grass. I said, deer don't, they don't depend on grass for the winter. They stock up on acorns for the winter to put that fat on for winter. And so you're going to need that initial stock because it's going to be too dangerous to go out and hunt. You kill a deer, there's going to be another hunter over. I got to feed his family. They'll shoot you over that deer, probably drag you and the deer back. And there's that initial food stock put up, the seeds. See, that's something I got to work on more is having seed put up and knowing how to fertilize your land without chemical fertilizers because we're used to going to the co-op and getting triple 13, triple 17. You may have a few bags of that around the first year, but then you're going to have to learn how to use the rabbit poop, the chicken litter, the goat poop. You're going to have to, wood ash, eggshells. There's so much, in the prepping situation that we try to look at is if America collapses, the world's going to hurt.
If America, that's the thing. If America goes, the world is done.
Hey, Mitch.
You know, and there's nothing. I mean, there's nothing you or I can do to change it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And
Yeah.
people are like, you know, why are you wasting your money prepping for the apocalypse? And it's like, I'm not prepping for the apocalypse because I know where I'm going.
Oh yeah.
That's not a problem for me. You know, they were like, well, why do you still do it? It's like, I prep so that my family's protected if we have a situation that comes up.
Exactly.
If there's a hurricane that comes up through up to Raleigh in North Carolina, which we had 2 in 2018. You know, and just because I've been through so many hurricanes, it's just all right, man. You know, I don't play. You know, I might get a sudden ice storm. Look what happened out in Texas. You know, freak ice storm, snowstorm comes in. You know,
nobody was ready.
And my oldest daughter's out there, and she's in Abilene, or Amarillo. She's in Amarillo, Texas. You know, she's like, Dad, what do I do? You know, and I'm like, well, you know, they're in an apartment, but they had heat. They couldn't do much, you know, for a while and everything. So, you know, but they had enough food just to get through. She's like, Dad, it's so cold. Mm-hmm. She's like, it's not supposed to be like this.
Yeah.
You took the chance to move to Texas. It's what you got. She's learning.
Well,
you know?
I think that tested a lot of people out there, made them. I mean, we got so many preppers in Texas now. I literally watched that happen on Clapper and that's what kind of built my following on Clapper. So we had so many, you know, it started as a political app. You had a ton of conservatives from Texas on there, and you've seen it just like tons of people like crying out for help, like, what do I do? And I remember posting the propane hose where you convert from a 20-pound tank to a small you can convert it from the 20-pound tank to the propane appliances that run off the green tanks.
Right.
And so many people didn't know what that was. I had like so many thank yous, and it just started. That's when people started following. Well, then a lot of them in turn became preppers. A lot of the holdouts, the wives or the husbands that didn't want to prep, flipped over into being preppers. We got the Texas prepper mom over here. She used to be TX Bunch. That's what galvanized her. Becca, she's talking about. You go ahead.
Oh, I was going to just jump in real quick. So you were talking about taking the larger tanks and the smaller tanks of the propane.
Yeah.
One of my Christmas gifts that my wife got for me was $15, $12 off of Amazon. Was the little nozzle, and I love it. You know. And she's like, "Are you sure?" She's like, "I didn't think you'd like. You know, you say you want it." I'm like, "This is awesome." You know.
Yeah.
I was bragging about it because even though I don't need it now, everything's full. If I use my gas grill, the 20-pound tank up, or one of the smaller tanks I have, I can fill it from that 20-pound tank. So I'm like, that is a prep that everybody should have.
See, no,
you know,
Harbor Freight's got those little refill things. I think they're fairly cheap.
They're $20 now.
Yeah, at Harbor Freight.
Yeah, well, here in North Carolina they are because I looked at them.
Now the one I seen yesterday, I don't think it was that high, but heck, I'm gonna grab one for next winter. Now, American Woman, she's been. We followed each other on Clapper and here since that, you know, that instance, and she's saying I was the only one that didn't think she was crazy, and you know, that was one of the things, you know, I've tried to do is I don't turn away any questions. If somebody don't know something, they don't know it, you know. And Texas didn't know nothing about no winter freeze, and I barely knew, even in Alabama. And you had so many people talking about how Texas this. I mean, they've never had a freeze like that. And the whole prepping thing, people think we're crazy until they go through something, and then they're the ones, like you said, they want to show up on the doorstep. And it's so easy to do it cheaply, and that's what I try to do is for the budget, and I know you do too. And it takes a crisis to galvanize people, and I think a lot of people will survive that are not prepared, simply because they. I think sometimes it may hurt us in the prepping community to a degree because we're like dependent on the preps. But you'll see people that'll survive because like, oh crap, I don't got nothing. What am I going to do? And they'll be learning on the fly and figure it out and be probably a little more resourceful than most of us, the country boys, that feel like they're going to make it. But are you still there? Buzzer Life Commander. May have lost him. Think we've lost Buzzard Life Commander. Oh, hey, single mom's looking at my Amazon list. Well, thank you. There's a lot of cool stuff on there. Did I just get a gift? I got 100 diamonds. Who sent that? It's not letting me. Who sent that gift? Yeah, put them in the gear giveaway. Amara and single mom, y'all are in the gear. So we lost. Buzzer Life, are you still there, man? You're going in and out on me.
Yeah, I'm here.
I was hollering. I didn't know I couldn't. I was like,
I don't know what
are you there? You got cut out.
Yeah.
Oh, hey. So what was you?
I don't know what's going on. What were we talking about?
Well, it's talking about how some preppers will be galvanized. Lord, that's when I started realizing I didn't think you were hearing me. But I was talking about, some people will not have anything, but they'll have to learn right off the bat. But it may help them in the long run because the country boys are depending on what they've always done. Country boy can't survive. So, but then there'll be people like, oh crap, I don't know what's going on. And that galvanizes them to prepare. It galvanizes them to grow. And I think that is one key thing that the non-prepper does have on their side. They're going to be scared as crap, and they're going to learn. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, and I think that a lot of people are, when the ones that aren't really prepared, they're like, hey, what's going on? Have you heard? What can I do? What can you help me? And it's gonna be, it's gonna be pretty much too late, to really do anything. The best thing to do is just try to find the like-minded people around you the best you can. Number one, and look for ex-military people. That's you definitely want to make sure you have those kind of people with you because they're going to have basic training. They're going to have basic. Now some will be a little higher than others, but they'll have simple defense training. They'll know how to shoot, how to operate, how to lead or follow, and that's the key thing is, and you really need to know your neighbors. Now, what sucks for me is one of my neighbors just moved last week. He sold his house and moved to South Florida. I wish him luck and everything. So he was one person we could count on. Around me, I'm fine. My neighbor across the street is ex-military. He does the competition shooting, and his girlfriend can shoot better than I can. And she just started a few years ago.
Dang.
So
you got some shooters. Now they brought up booze, and then they start talking about Molotov cocktails, and then they're talking about tinctures now. And hey, whether you're a drinker or not, you've got to realize that the alcohol is used in the tinctures. You're not getting drunk or you're not drinking it. You're doing droplets like in your coffee or whatnot. Right. But and I don't stock up on it myself, but I know we've got the equipment at a certain family member's house because we had a family member that has passed on that used to make whiskey and sell it. And so the equipment's still there, the knowledge is still there. And if and some of the other family that knows how to cook meth, I'm pretty sure they can swap over to making some kind of usable fuel out of random household cleaners and items. But
I believe that. And when people, even if I don't drink, okay, I don't have a problem. I've spent my teen years drinking, my early 20s, and everything, like most people do. I mean, I had a beer a couple years ago, just one randomly. You know, if I came over to your house and you said, "Hey, you know, you want a beer? I'll sit down and have a beer with you." Because I have a Class A CDL, and I've had it for 18 years. I'm not going to go out and drink and drive. I'll have one beer, and that's pretty much it. You know, but people really want to have. You do want to have some alcohol, not just for drinking and whatnot.
Well,
but
thank you, American Woman.
That was pretty cool.
I don't know what it was, but it was awesome.
I don't know, man. I just looked at it like, oh, that was really neat. And
it was like the cosmos.
Purposes.
Now, what'd you say?
So, you want to have some alcohol for medicinal uses.
Now, I believe we'll be able to handle the alcohol part. Now, one of the things, Kim, I wanted to let you know, when I'm sending this, I'm tapping on here and I'm sending this request, it's saying the guest turns off connection to live, so there may be something disabled on there that you might have done previously that's still enacted on here. So if you want to go live, and I understand if you don't have the time, but if you want to go live, you can undisable that and come up here if you can figure it out in time. Now, a single mom journey. She's talking about she had the conversation. Now she's prepping, I believe, and I think she got started on that journey maybe here recently, but she's got somebody that's starting in prepping. There's so many new preppers, and my advice to you is get out and test the gear, get out and get your hands dirty. Learn the skills and test them, because even leather working. Now, I don't know if you've had this problem. How old are you, Buzzer Life?
I'll be 45 this year.
45. So you've got a little time. I thought you was around my age. I'm 37, so you got a little more time. But do your hands go numb, like from all the work? Is it hindered? You're nervous?
Well, yes, I do. I have arthritis. I take actually meloxicam. So if stuff hits the fan and I can't get that, I'm going to be in a world of pain, because I have been run over by a car, crushed my left ankle, had my shoulder blow out, and I had my back messed up. So if I don't have something to take care of inflammation, I'm in trouble.
Now, one of the things I'm bringing that up for, and say I'm not on medication, but I do hang an inversion table. I do need to go back to the chiropractor. But when I sleep, I wake up, my hands are aching. And some of that's the impact wrenches and tools I'm using. When I was putting this together, now it don't look like a lot of sewing.
Nice.
Thank you, buddy. What do you think? I'm thinking about making these and selling them on the website. But
that's awesome. I haven't seen that style since years. I haven't seen anything like that.
It is a wet mold leather that I've done in 2 Rubbermaid molds. But then when I sewed it together, let me get this, I'm using that speed stitcher. And it's supposed to be easy. My hands were on fire and going numb. And so, I'm over here testing the skill. This is going to be one of my tradable skills. This is just something I'm wanting to use. Right. And, even doing this, using a rivet gun, I'm over there, and you've probably seen me during this live, I'm pulling at my fingers because they're going numb while I'm sitting here. Yes. And a lot of that's the work.
Okay. So, first thing is the impact is probably aggravating your carpal tunnel.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I have carpal tunnel so bad that I can't run a chainsaw no more.
Man.
And yeah. So what happens is, because where the motor is on the chainsaw, it kicks. It's your hands right there on the handle. The motor's in front of it, and the vibrations lock up my hand, so I can't move the trigger and I'm right-handed. Okay. So that's a major issue. Was a major issue for my job.
Now she's saying a strap below the elbow helps.
Right there, and that's one thing I do use. And it has a little plastic, pillow in it, and you make the strap tight, put it just above where it hurts. It's kind of what they use for a tennis elbow. You can find them on Amazon.
Okay.
They're $20, and they'll help, but it's not going to free it. Now, here's the other thing. My father-in-law is one of those guys, and I can't say it's going to work for you or not, but he went out, he bought one of those copper bracelets, just pure copper, put it on his wrist, he can close his hands. Now, this is an ex-Army guy, or Navy guy, that could not close and make a fist with his hands, okay?
Yeah.
Could not do it because of the stuff that he went, because he used to have, he said they used to take his hands and they put them on hot plates and make them hold them there to see how long before they would, how they would test them to see before they would spill out the information. And that's what the Navy did back in using the Korean War.
Okay.
So he put that copper bracelet on his wrist, and he could make a fist. You take the copper bracelet off, he couldn't open his hand.
So it's a lot of it's about the.
It has to do with your body's electrical field that it produces. Every person is different. I can't say whether it's going to work for you or not, but you can try.
One thing I've heard is to do this, and that's supposed to help. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but it has helped in times past. It's just seemed worse lately, and I think, like American Woman saying, she used air tools for 22 years. I'm thinking it's these. My dad even said it's probably the impact wrenches, and I'm thinking it's probably a combination of the carpal tunnel and the pensioner. But even that, you think about going into a collapse scenario, no technology, no pain meds. You think about that, and we're in that situation. The labor involved in survival. Some of us will just like probably give up and die. Or did you see the? Did you see? I think her name is Sharon. Myofascial acoustic compression therapy. Okay. Hey, Jeremy, how you doing, bud? We'll bring him up here too. But you think about. I lost my train of thought. I had a perfect train of thought and I lost it.
Hey, what's going on?
What you doing, buddy? We're talking about the labor involved in survival. Now you've got a farm. You probably got a bigger homestead than I do. Now, Buzzer Life, do you have a homestead?
I'm living in a small little community. I have 1 acre. 3/4 of it is open. The rest is is all woods. But I have 2 acres behind me that nobody can build on because it's a community well.
Okay.
So it's really great. Is I have a deer stand out there behind my house, and I have a perfect shot where the deer come in and lay at night. So I got a great morning position if I need to.
Okay. So Jeremy, you've got
22 acres.
Nice.
So you do a lot of farming, like you're doing that every day, aren't you? You don't have like a full-time job, like go to work.
No, I'm retired now.
Okay.
I'm medically retired. I'm not supposed to be killing myself. I still work myself pretty hard, but like I feel it at the end of the day. Pretty much if it's not an all-day thing every day, it's pretty close to it. There's always something to be done. It's not to make it sound bad, but it's worse than a honey-do list sometimes. Because every time you get to start on something, 12 other things pop up.
That sounds like the construction business my brother runs. Me and him he'll call me, hey, I'll be here in a minute. And they're like, man, I'm covered up down here. You got to run the site. And I'm like, okay, we'll do it. And then we're trying to do something. About 12 things happened there. Scissor lip went out. Now, they're bringing up wild lettuce. We was talking about pain, carpal tunnels.
Oh, yeah.
Buzzer Life's dealing with pain meds. You were in military.
We use wild lettuce.
Okay. Patriots United on Clapper. Now, he's talking about having, the wounds from combat. Now, I don't know. I think her name's Sharon. Did you see her, the one that MS that went on alone? You say?
Oh yeah. I remember her.
Now she had went.
Yeah, she's an actor. She's a doctor. She's an actual doctor.
And she had began to her body began to go through all of the MS symptoms, and she went and done all that the doctors told her. None of it worked, and she cured herself with, her. She had spent time learning a lot of foraging skills, and
Mm-hmm.
so she used those skills to help her. And when she was out in alone, she actually felt better because she was harvesting, the wild herbs and things, and had more access to them, and felt better. And she was blowing it. Like, I think she was number 2 on that season. Caught more fish than anybody in the whole show's history.
She was number 2. They pulled her because of weight loss.
Yeah.
Even though she really didn't lose much weight, she was actually thin to begin with.
Yeah.
But it was one of those. She came down to a body fat level that they weren't comfortable with.
That a lot of people get pulled for that and frostbite. So.
Well, think about it. I remember my great grandparents.
Sorry, drop my phone.
My great grandparents lived to be 96.
We got all kinds of problems.
And they were never sick. But they made their own food from scratch. They they learned how to how to grow, what to do, and everything. So my grandparents were like that. My grandfather grew up on a farm. My grandmother, she had everything handed to her, for a while. So, you look at the old people that don't go to the doctor, and, it's been kind of a run of the movies. Old grandpa will never go to the doctor. He has his little medicine bottle he takes a sip of every now and then. Well, there's a reason why they never got sick.
What they were eating?
Yeah, they're eating this. They made, all the stuff didn't have these preservatives, additives, and everything in it today.
All that sodium.
I saw one. Yeah, I saw one thing here on TikTok. People are saying if you look at the Walmart brand potato chips that has the disclaimer on there, says this product has been known to cause cancer, and it's in all the Walmart brand potato chips.
Yes.
And I'm like, what?
You hearing this? The Great Value's got.
Dollar General the other day.
That's all we get because we're poor folks. We get the Great Value tater chips.
I understand that. I am.
That also has everything to do with the whole
ingredient in Great Value chips is known to cause cancer. I just had to tell her this because we buy the cheap chips because we're poor, and the kids eat them.
Yes. Yeah. So here's the thing. I went into the Dollar General and I was like, let me just see if they're branded chips, the Clover Valley that I've been kind of pushing for the canned food, because it's $2 for $1. You can't find canned peas for $2 for $1 anymore. So the Clover Valley potato chips had that warning on it. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, holy cow! So I'm gonna do some stuff tomorrow.
And start making our own tater chips.
And looking at all the cheap knockoffs and see which ones say it and which ones don't. Now, the Lays do not say it, but I'm not paying. I'll quit eating potato chips. I'm sorry, but I'm not paying $7 a bag or
what?
$2 for $7.
Oh, we're gonna start making.
Give it a couple months.
Yeah, we'll be paying $10 a bag. Now, Jeremy, you had something you were bringing up. Now, what was that you were saying about the other ingredients?
All right, so I don't know if you're familiar with anything that is marked for sale, but pretty much everything that can possibly or will cause cancer, and pretty much that's everything, even water, gets marked that it may cause cancer if it's packaged to get sold in California. And most companies will not make 2 different packagings. They will just do one run of packaging and send it all over the place. So pretty much it's how do I say this? It's a lunatic freaking marking that 99% of the time makes no damn sense, because they even mark water as this will cause freaking cancer.
For real. Okay, so we're good. So are you saying we're good with him eating Clover Valley, and I'm good with eating Great Value chips?
Well, when it comes to chips and stuff like that, everything in moderation is fine.
Okay. So we just get a little bit of cancer.
Right.
Get a little prostate cancer.
It's going to be for dipping for 20 years.
But I don't dip. So if I die, it's going to be from tater chips. Y'all know the tater chips got me because I like them, the off-brand wavy lays that they got, them wavy values.
Oh no! Look, I've been clean 8 years now. I quit 8 years ago.
The dip.
So hopefully I don't 5 minutes. And I was a Copenhagen skull monster.
Well, now I've never, dipped. I never really even wanted to dip because it just didn't look appealing. But now my father-in-law would always offer me something. Like, hey, you want to dip? He knowed I didn't dip. He just grinned and offered me a dip. I don't want to.
Levi Garrett and Redman.
Oh, Redman Golden Blend. Oh, yeah.
Now Redman's pretty rough, ain't it?
I was one of those few people that could actually swallow the juice. It didn't bother me.
Yes, you had to in school, man. All my friends got busted in high school dipping, except for me.
Actually, I got one that a lot of people don't remember. Freaking day of work.
I don't know that one.
Day's work was plugs. They were square plugs.
Okay.
And when I went for the invasion of Iraq, I went and I bought three huge bricks of those things and sold those out for $20 a freaking brick, $20 a plug.
I bet you did. They were
it's like prison over there, wasn't it? I got these here plugs that dip.
And you could talk to the locals. The locals had cigarettes and tobacco. And they had dip and all that.
Really?
Yeah.
I cigarettes, yes. I never could see. I don't see dip over there. I can't see Iraqi dip.
We got logs of Copenhagen from them because they would get it from like Europe. They would have shipments from Europe come down to sell to the GIs because it would make money.
Huh. Yeah. So they was capitalists over there. They make a noise. Now DTAP is asking. Now I had to look back to see what this is about. It said most American food is not allowed in the UK. So Party Monster, I believe, is in the UK, and may be wrong, but they're saying DTAP saying, well, no more bacon.
And MSGs and stuff.
So there's no more bacon there. So what are they gonna do with heavy gals? I don't understand what's gonna happen to folks like me over in British. No bacon. I ain't going over there. I'm telling you, if they ain't got no bacon. Okay, he's in Buffalo. Okay, there we go. But we look. We've been talking about the work that goes into farm work, and my uncles talked about what they had to do. They grew everything. Now we also talked about the health. And one of the things my uncles told me before I ever heard about gut health, before I ever heard about, any of that stuff, my uncle was talking about the fresh milk that they got from their cows. And he was talking about what all they would make, cream, yogurt, they would make butter. He said that milk was sweeter. He said it was sweeter than what you buy in the store. And he also said that right there will make you healthy right there. And then when I started studying into gut health, lo and behold, fresh dairy does seem to contribute a lot to your gut health. So they knew this stuff back then, and now we've kind of give up our health for convenience.
What the reason being, and I can actually answer this because right after high school, I ended up dairy farming in 1996 before I went to Cincinnati. I did 6 months dairy farm. Oh, hellacious work, man. 6.5 days a week. So that unpasteurized milk was so awesome. When I first started drinking it, it would mess my stomach up. But after about a week, I got used to it and everything because everything that you get in the store is all pasteurized, right?
Yeah.
They always take the impurities and all this and that. I got it after a week. My bones were so after like 3 months, my bones were so strong, so much stronger. I could feel like the strength in my bones.
I'm like imagining like Popeye right now. When you get some spinach, you got me wanting to get me some. Yeah. Just go out and get some raw cow's milk.
Find a local dairy farm. You can probably get it once it's been through, cleaned and everything.
Well, now Joe's.
What's cool about it is you open the tap, you get the milk, and the cream just comes to the top.
I bet that's
what we
good.
would do is we start work at 3 o'clock in the morning, so we would just make coffee right there. They had it in the barn, and we would get a cup of coffee, and then you just scoop the cream off the top, and you put it in your coffee, and it's the best coffee you've ever had in the world. No sugar, none.
Oh yeah.
Now
And it's so healthy for you.
Now Joe has just went into milk. Her milk sacks were saying, I know she was gonna be having a baby. So now y'all got me thinking about going out there and stealing a little bit of Betty's milk. I'm gonna get it in a bucket. We're gonna see how sweet this stuff is. Now Jeremy, do y'all harvest your own milk? Do you have goats or cattle?
Not yet. No, we're getting ready to get goats and stuff back this year. We had goats and stuff, but we didn't have any of them that had been pregnant or anything where we could get milk. I've got a friend of mine that has goats, and I know that he has some where he's going to be able to get milk here soon, so I'll be able to get some from him. But when you go do that, and you're going to have to talk to, the best place to talk to the extension office, but they're going to be able to explain to you, okay, you can pull this much and still not affect the baby.
Okay.
You're also going to want to look at, once you get that milk, like what temperature you got to get it to if you're going to pasteurize it yourself, or if you're going to go through and keep it raw, how to... like separating out your cream from the milk isn't hard. You just let it sit in the fridge and it'll separate itself out before the top of the cream off, and it'll stay in one. And that's what you're going to make like your butters and stuff like that from. Also, too, you'll be able to make like your whipped creams and stuff like that.
Now, I hate to change the subject, but this is pretty wild. Now, Mitch Cast over here has brought this up, said, believe it or not, but true, my father planted vegetables on flight line in Air Force in sewage sludge. And they said it grew huge and great tasting. So they do use human waste to grow food now. That is a technique. So what are y'all's thoughts on this?
I got a story for you.
Okay.
So, in Iraq, I was at a place called Key West. So Key West was where the SEAL teams were running out of in 2009. And that's where they were going out to go pick up bad guys and stuff all over Iraq. Mm-hmm. Well, we were out there doing support for them, and we used to drive out past the sewage ponds. They call them the shit ponds. Well, these things were surrounded by corn plants and tomato plants that came up voluntarily. And
there you go. Now, Party Buster's bringing this up. Now I got a story. My uncle, now in the trailer park he was living in, he's pretty well, I think, got a hold of the property. Now he owns it. There was a collective septic tank that started overflowing to a degree. You know, because you can't put 5 or 6 trailers on the same septic tank without it finally being done. Doing pretty good, Sam, man. We're talking about what we're talking about. But he started telling me about the tomato plants that were coming up. He said, I thought about eating them, but I don't know. It's growing out of that sewage. He said, those tomatoes get so big.
As long as they're not using any chemicals, like the blue stuff out of the Porta-Johns.
Yeah.
Where you get smurfed and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as they're not using any of those chemicals, they'll be safe.
See?
But, like in Iraq and Afghanistan, they were using those blue chemicals.
Oh, okay. So I told him, I said, go get that mater over there and try it out. He was talking about how big and red, and he's like, they look good. If it wasn't growing in the septic tank runoff, I'd try. I said, go ahead and get one. Now, now we started talking about this because Mitch Cass brought this up. And And now it's like everybody's like, hey man, yeah, the septic tank, tomatoes growing out septic tank, corn growing fresh. So look, y'all, everybody can be prepared a little bit. Find an open running septic tank, and you got your. Hey, you can replant them tomatoes. Now this is a trick with tomatoes. Huh? Say that again, Mother.
It's just fertilizer.
That's all it is. You get the nitrogen from the crap.
I have spent 18 years in the sewer business.
Okay.
Trust me, you're not gonna tell me or show me anything that's gonna surprise me.
So how many wild tomato plants have you run across in the sewage industry?
Actually, there's been a few. We have a that would collect the sewage coming in, and so occasionally you get clogged up with grease and would overflow, and all around it was. I'm just laughing back here, listening, looking at the comments about the tomato plants in there. No corn, but tomato plants and watermelons.
What? Yeah.
Watermelons growing.
All right. So here's the thing about tomato plants.
It's crazy.
Now, if you take that tomato plant, the clippings, if you leave one leaf on them and plant them in some wet soil, you're going to get a fresh tomato plant growing out of that. Now, I imagine you men have probably know this and have tried it. I've done it. Last year I done it a few times. So that's one of them apocalypse plants. You got tomatoes coming up in the septic tank, folks. Get over, get your clippings pretty soon. By the end of planting season, you got a whole garden of tomatoes over there. You can go trade that in for somebody's taters they've been growing. And tomatoes, potatoes, and kudzu, I think we're going to make it, folks. Folks can make it. You can make it if you learn.
Well, now that we're talking about all this, I'm going to have to go. It's dinner time for us.
My wife says, she said, I thought he was about to say, I got to go to the bathroom.
I do have a little trick, though, that I'm going to share real quick, and I'll be putting a video up on it. A lot of people haven't put a lot of thought into how they're going to start their seeds and stuff like that after the fact, because we're not all going to have toilet paper rolls and newspaper rolls and all that to make little cups forever.
Mm-hmm.
So
we're saving that toilet paper for the hard times now.
Oh yeah, well, all right. So I found a bit, and it fits into your drill and your rechargeable drill, and you can actually drill holes into the bottom of your the bottom of coffee cups to use as planters and as plant starters.
Mm-hmm.
Like watch
your cake cups.
Yeah. Well, not the K cups. I'm talking actual coffee cups.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, see,
it's a coring bit for tile.
So you're starting them in the old coffee cups, so how are you? And you're not having any kind of root shock happen when you take them out of the coffee cups.
So far, we haven't gotten to that point yet. But the thing is that as long as you're pulling them out like you would normal freaking planting cups, like normal planting pots and stuff like that, they shouldn't have root shock at all.
Now see, hey, Lightfoot Farm. Now Lightfoot Farms, one of our big organic growers, and they always have a lot good to say about it. You had everybody excited because they thought they had found a use for K-Cups, Jeremy. Are you going to own up to that false hope that you just give Buzzard Life and Party Monster?
Well, all right. So K-Cups are the biggest. How do I say this? They're a dirty capitalist wet drain. They destroy everything. There's no way to really reuse them. But the fact, you might be able to pull the tops on using the plant still, but you're not going to have any roots out. They're so small.
Yeah.
We were looking at it, and I got the whole thing with coffee cups because I collect coffee cups. My wife and I collect coffee cups like you wouldn't believe.
Well, everybody's got a collection of coffee cups.
Yeah.
I mean, I find tons of them. When I used to go do storage buildings, there's a list of everything you were going to find. I could tell you, you're going to find porcelain dolls, coffee cups, Bibles.
Creepy porcelain doll.
Yeah.
Blow up dolls.
No, not, that's another store for pornography. And my wife said blow up dolls because we found a blow up doll in one of the storage units, and it's in a garbage can with a bag. I opened it up and I was like, oh crap. I covered it back up and didn't think nothing about it. My wife comes in, she's going, what's in here? Oh my Lord! What? I said, it's a blow up doll. Throw it out. Nothing, son. We got a kid in here.
You should have told her it was a life preserver.
That's the only thing you could have done with it. Love you too, D Tap Tap. So yeah, I gave it to my uncle and I told him, I said, take that and throw that in your dumpster at your trailer park because he was helping me at the time. And a couple weeks later, we got banned off of one of the Facebook sale sites. And my cousin was over there talking, and I said, he got talking about it, messing with me, trying to get me in front of everybody. I said, over and tell him you heard he got us kicked off the Facebook sale site for trying to sell pornos and a blow-up doll on there. And he went over and asked him, and he said, I didn't know it. I was over killing over laughing. Oh, the LUVEUEW. Oh, okay. I see what you're talking about. She was talking about the blow up doll of you. Oh, Lord. How did we get on that? Lord, forgive me, Jesus. But coffee cups was on that list, folks.
What you found in storage unit.
What you find in
All
storage
right,
unit.
so everywhere you go, there's always garage sales. There's always the peddlers malls, antique malls, stuff like that. And what's the one thing and the thrift stores and stuff like that, the
Goodwills.
Army stores, they're everywhere, and they're like a quarter a piece. They're less than that, and you can keep using this year after year because it's a solid cup. So you just go through and collect them all up, stack them all up, or put them all on a rod at the end of and run it back again.
Now, did everybody just see that? Jeremy went into, he stopped and then he went, like that. Now, I don't know how you did that.
Yes.
What kind of outrageous chemicals have you been around that cause that? But we've had some good times here, folks. Jeremy's got to go eat. I imagine Buzzard Life's got to eat. I'm probably fixing to get off here and spend some time with the wife. It's reaching 8 p.m. Central. We've actually been going for 2 hours. We had a good time today, folks. You don't never know what you're going to talk about in Edge 29 Chaos Cast Live. We thank you all for coming in here. Any closing thoughts, gentlemen? We'll start with Buzzard Life. Any closing thoughts on anything that we brought up or something you just wanted to bring up?
Well, one thing I wanted to say to the people out there that are watching this and whatnot, go to the link in my bio and we're sign up for the newsletter. We got that great giveaway. We got a 72-hour kit in there, double wall thermos, a lot of really cool little things that people don't think about.
Spears.
If you say, hey, I don't need this, I just want the newsletter, no problem. Hey, you win it, I'm going to send it out to you. Give it to somebody who could use it. Somebody that doesn't have anything.
So have you set up a website?
Yeah, so the link is in my bio. Okay. Travis set it all up.
Okay.
And so they can just click right on that link, and as soon as you click on that link, you'll see sign up for the newsletter. Okay.
So now me and Jeremy, we're working on my website. He's helping me get the blog up and going, and we got something similar. So, do you mind if I add the link from your website to mine so people can find you there?
Yeah, please.
Would you
do it? Yeah.
Would you be willing to do the return favor on that? I mean, I've got Grow Food Now and Wright Family Farms on mine, and also Iron Wolf Distributors. So, kind of creating.
That's what's her name, right?
Danny Vesterlin.
Yeah, the girl with the pretty eyes. Blue eyes. Yeah.
Oh my Lord! I want to tell her about that. I was like, "Oh, Buzz!" I said, "The lady with the pretty eyes. You got pretty eyes." Yeah, she is like she's bought growfoodnow.org, and she has Victory Life, Victory Garden. It's good. Oh yeah, I know you already, American Woman. She's telling y'all that it's good to meet y'all. And also, Mitch Cass is telling you to have a good dinner, Jeremy. We're bringing all 6 of these apps together.
I hope to God you're not eating corn tonight.
Potato salad and steak.
Tater salad. Hey, call me Tater Salad. So, so we're gonna. What I'm doing with mine, and what I want to do is bring us all together. We're creating a network. If you got that website, you're preparedness minded. You know, if you want to, if you don't want, if you're like I've talked, Jeremy, he's helping me with writing blogs. Letta's been writing. She wrote some. Rice Family Farms wrote some, and I'm talking to. He's changed his name, but it was Southwest Prepper Group. Now it's Stay Safe, Don't Die. I think, and I don't know if everybody knows where that comes from, but those that know, you know. And I'm going to leave it at that. That's a whole nother conversation. But he's wanting to do it because he's not got the website. But if we can get that interconnectivity, we've got us a digital mag right here, Mutual Assistance Group.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's going to be that place people's like, hey, well, we can send you over to Buzzard Life. We can send you over to Edge 29. And you can learn from what they have on there. So if y'all folks, Lightfoot Farm Spears, if y'all are not already doing blogs, hey, if you're interested, you can contribute to our blog or to Buzzard Life's newsletter, but getting info out there to people. Jeremy, any closing thoughts?
All right. First and foremost, like you were saying, everyone needs to start talking to each other. They need to start networking, whether it be digitally or in person. Everyone needs to get to know their neighbors.
Exactly.
Number 2, more than anything, people need to start putting away. They need to start not only putting away, but start learning. Start grabbing up all those paper books that actually have some information on it. Digital is great, but digital has failures. Computers go down, phones go down. People don't always have that. And then number 3, tools do not necessarily equal talent. If you get some tools, you need to learn how to use them. You need to know how to use them, or ask somebody that knows how to. Exactly.
How do you like this Possibles bag?
It's all fine and dandy for someone to have. I like it.
He just done
I
it.
think that would be awesome for a fire tool kit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now Jeremy has got an article about Possible bags on our website on their pros, and this is a belt pouch, folks. A lot of people that do survival have Possible bags. Now he's saying learn skills. Just because you got them, you don't know. I'm in the midst of learning how to do this stuff because one day I might not be able to go to the store and buy it, and I want my kids to have these things. Plus, it's cheap Christmas presents. We're just going to throw that out there, too. I ain't ashamed. But we save some money on ho-ho. Now, that has been one of my main focuses. I know it's some of you men's main focuses is getting the skills, learning. Jeremy's got a whole farm on 22 acres. Buzzard Life, he does. He's got a hunting community, and he's growing it. He's growing his digital footprint with his skills videos. Jeremy has. That's the thing, folks. We're looking past the year stockpile because that'll run out or it might get stolen. Can you keep growing? Now, Lightfoot Farms is probably, I think Lightfoot Farms has been prepping or at least doing homesteading, organic growing for a long time. Probably one of the most prepared people you're going to meet is one of those Amish or like long-time homesteaders. Jeremy's got the 22 acres. I got an acre and a half. But I'm doing as much as an acre and a half can do. I got 13 chickens out there, maybe more, 2 geese, 2 ducks, 3 rabbits, 3 goats right now, 3 dogs, and I got a ton of cats because we had rats a while back, but
No,
they're gone because the cats.
great.
We got stray cats everywhere.
And no one can come within 15 minutes of your place without a whole bunch of noise.
Oh, I'm telling you,
The geese.
we know when something's happened because the boxer goes nuts. The geese, if the geese are going off, something's in the backyard. It done got past the boxer. you didn't listen to her. You got to get out there. You better get the shotgun, or you might need to get the rifle if it's in the backyard. We don't know if it's a Bigfoot. We don't know what's coming out. But I'm telling you, folks, you've got, with preparedness, with survival, with bushcraft community, we've got to think past that food supply, because we're looking more at society. We're looking at the real things. We're not looking at an asteroid hitting Earth. We're not looking at a polar shift. Maybe that'll happen. We're not looking at some of this crazy science fiction stuff. Whoa, Jeremy just got offline. He got kicked offline. He got to eating and hit the wrong button with that cornbread. But we're looking at long-term sustainability. Everybody's bringing up the corn over here on Clapper. And it died. We'll see you, Jeremy. We'll see you tomorrow night if I'm able to get on. But yeah, I mean, we're looking at like societal collapse, like our country not being the country no more kind of stuff. We're looking at balkanization. We're looking at former Soviet Union. We're looking at the Roman Empire. These things actually happen, and it could happen, but people are so complacent. And so Buzzer Life, I'm going to drop you down. Jeremy ran out of battery and dropped himself down, and we got a couple shameless plugs and advertisements now. So, and then, well, we're going to pray. I almost forgot to pray. I can't forget that. So you want to stay with me for the prayer for a minute, Buzzard?
Oh, absolutely, brother.
All right.
I'm here.
All right, folks, we're going to say the prayer. If you don't believe in prayer, I understand if you leave right now, but we do pray. I am a minister. Christ is the thing I don't budge on. So, again, we're not trying to offend nobody, so I do give people the time if they decide to leave because this is not their thing. But I'm going to pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you, Lord, for the good conversation we've had tonight. We thank you for this ability to share with others these skills we've accrued over time, Lord, that you've inspired us towards. We thank you for the conversations we've had, the real thinking that we've got in here about people that need to prep. We've seen a lot of impacts in these conversations right now. We thank you for those that are non-preppers that have come through and had this exposure. Lord, I believe that's divine intervention. I believe you brought them our way to kind of get that started in their mind, to plant those seeds, to be ready. And we thank you, Lord, for the protection that you give our nation thus far. We've had enough that if it wasn't protected no more, Lord, we've had a long, good run. And I thank you, Lord, for the abundance and wealth we've been born into, the ability to prepare to some degree for all of us in this country. God, I pray that you just help us to, help what we're doing. Help this website, Buzzard Life, and the Real Buzzard Life, or Buzzard Life Commander and the Real Buzzard Life are putting together with a newsletter. Lord, help them with that. Help it to grow. Help what me and Jeremy and a number of others are doing on Edge 29 Chaos. Help it to grow. Help us to get that interconnectivity. And Lord, help communities start to prepare, because Lord, hard times are coming one way or another. And if your coming happens, or if you tarry, we got to be prepared one way or another, Lord. And I pray you just help us, Lord. Help your word to go out and protect those right now that are experiencing this war in Ukraine right now, God. And set your hand of protection down on the children and on those that are innocent and not able to get out and do anything, God, about what's happening. In Jesus' name we pray. And they all said amen. So, that was a long one. I just got all caught up in, just kept coming to my mind. Thank you, G, man. All right, Buzzard, I'm going to drop you down. I'm going to do the advertisements, and we're going to call this the Jessica Bunch moment of the show. She gets to advertise because I take up all her time doing this show, and that's the least I can do. You ain't feeling it
Thanks,
tonight.
bud.
She says she ain't feeling it tonight. Her anxiety's high. All right. Well, I was gonna exit out, but it tried to give you a gift instead. We'll give you a gift. There we go. I'll send you a gift there, buddy. All right. Kevin, Jessica, your friend. Kevin said, she said, Kevin. Kevin said, tell her to start feeling it. I want to say hi. So come over here. Kev, I'd bring you up, but I've been on here 2 hours, and she's been told me I got to get off. She's here.
Hey.
It's your good friend. We got to send you some more Three Musketeers, by the way. If you don't know who Kevin May is, he is one of my dear friends from Australia. His tag on Clapper's Seared Soul. He is a bundle of joy and laughs. he was one of my first friends on social media, and we have exchanged gifts. We have. I still ain't got your package, but I'm just gonna accept it in my heart, my friend. Yeah, I haven't seen you take his show. Now I have to see it. He had to see you take the show. So him and my wife have made friends because he likes to come on the show and set me straight and keep me in line. So thank you, Kevin. Seriously, not there. So he's all the way over there. Yeah, it still hadn't come. I don't know what's happening with the packages, but it's just America, man. I still got packages. I'm waiting on an axe handle I ordered 4 or 5 months ago. But he's sending another one. F it. I don't say that word, but he does. I'll DM you, bud. Hey, let's talk on Telegram because something is wrong with my Clapper DMs. I keep missing stuff. Everybody's telling me. But hey, thanks, James, man. Thanks. I appreciate that. That's a blessing, my friend. Thank y'all for the likes and thank y'all for donations and gifts. That helps this keep going. It just keeps getting bigger. And we ain't really trying to make it bigger. Just opportunities keep coming along. Friends keep coming along. I've made some of the best friends I've had in my life here on social media. Kevin has been a blessing. I'm going to tell you, he's not a survivalist per se, but he's just a person that can survive. He's from Australia. He lives in the outback. He's like Quigley down under when it comes to his land. Like he showed me a picture you just see from out. So he had to know how to survive. He's been fighting dingoes, riding kangaroos, and he has given me a number of tips when it comes to like dealing with predators coming in. He's taught me about traps and snares. And
he leaves him speechless.
He leaves me speechless. Woman, Kevin, you got my wife. You got my wife sold, buddy. She's takes your side over me. She tells everybody I like that guy because he sets him straight. Now I do believe some of their restrictions have come out. Party Musters won't know. So careful, he might take me. That's how it started. He started hitting on me, and then he said he was straight. I didn't realize it. I didn't know what was going on there. Had me all tore up. Mitch Cass said to you howdy. But folks, this I do got to do the advertisements and get off and eat supper. It's been a long day taking apart buildings. Kevin, I'm working in construction, by the way, now. I got fired from a job. Just be honest, because my bad smart aleck mouth. But, everybody had that attitude at that time. ReadyWise, my friends. Go to ReadyWise.com. E29 TEN is your discount code to save you 10% on your preparedness food. Now, this is good hiking meals. These are their adventure meals. So this is good for a bug out bag, get home bag, good bag, survival bag. Maybe you throwing it in the plane when you go. A risk manager. Okay. See, Party Muster is a risk manager. So Party Muster, if you need some good food for the bags, here you go. And if you want to write some articles for our blog, hey, we'd love to have you over. But E29TEN, I don't got my Olight with me, but OlightStore.com, DB29 is the code to save 10%. And I could have an incredible evening too, Jess. It's Mitch Cast. And go into the website, s29chaos.com. Just tapping the banners helps us. You caught us at the end. Thanks for coming in. It helps us to keep doing what we do with gear and things like that. Make sure you get onto my pinned video when you. Okay, I'm gonna get on there and check it out, bud.
Who is that?
It's Kevin. He's got a video up. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see what he's got. But again, if you're not on Clapper, go check out Clapper. We got a great community over there of creators. We got like a family, basically what we call it. If you're having trouble with some of your videos over here when it pertains to adult situations such as hunting, firearms, knives, bushcraft, survival, we got communities like that over on Clapper that are thriving. People are a part of it. Hey, he said he's still waiting on the coffee. Kev, I think she done quit that coffee. I'll just be honest with you. We'll send you some American coffee, though, some Starbucks coffee. But yeah, go to Clapper.
I'll give them some of my new stuff.
Yeah, hey, Party Monster, I'd love to have you write one. You can contact me through edge29chaos.com. It'll send me directly to my personal email. And if you want to write a preparedness, survival, bushcraft, homesteading article, hey, you can. I can get it on there for you. We can put links to your social here or links to any affiliates or businesses. But he said you did it from what? She what'd you say?
I'll give them some of my new stuff.
She'll give you some of her new stuff. She's on Snaps now. It's a whole nother thing she's selling. She does this, Kev. She does that network marketing. And it's a caffeine alternative. You don't quit on coffee. No, we ain't quit drinking coffee. She quit selling the Waker's Coffee brand, and the person who come up with the Waker's Coffee brand got her selling this new stuff, Snaps. Lord, it's crazy. But yes, Party Monster, hit me up. Hey, I'm interested in anybody that wants to write a blog pertaining to risk management. Risk management would be great. Preparedness, things of that nature. Only thing I ask is no vulgarity, no foul language, and no politics. Because, look, we got kids coming on. We got people from different political realms. We got people of all levels and all sexual, all kinds of different things. We're not here to offend nobody, but we do want to educate folks on survival, preparedness, things that will help them in an emergency. And so go to the website, edge29chaos.com. Tap those banners. It will help us with growth. It'll help us with everything. We thank you all for coming in, and we're going to end the stream. If it'll let me. Okay, there we go.